All right, join us now on Drive the Lane and entering enemy territory from Iowa, who's getting ready to take on Michigan State tomorrow, and then the Buckeyes on Thursday, Jordan Bohannon. Jordan, welcome to the show.
Appreciate you guys having me.
Absolutely. And to kick it all off, Zoltan, just want to let you know that you are third wheeling, as me and Jordan here have been podcast hosts before together. Now, the episode was thrown in the trash, and I have no idea where it is.
Do you want to talk about that? Because
Yeah, let's just get that off the table. We'll get that off the table. Zoltan knows that I don't do any of the behind-the-scenes stuff now because he's so great at it.
Thank God you don't.
Terrible at it. Because I was telling Jordan when we were recording, the name of our podcast was going to be the Amateur Hour Podcast, which is a great name still. So if anyone wants to take that, feel free. But basically, the whole idea was to give the viewpoint of two college basketball players that both thought they should be making money and talk about our stories and talk shit and have fun. And we recorded an episode. It was definitely going to be a practice episode anyway because we both kind of stunk. But it just doesn't exist. So, literally, I finished recording and it was just not where, I bought a recording, app or, program, I guess, and it's just gone. And then we just never recorded again.
I was so mad at you when you texted me like, hey, bro, I can't find the recording. I'm like, we just recorded for an hour and a half, stopping and starting because we couldn't get the intro right. And then we just hour and a half podcast, and you text me 30 minutes later saying, hey, I lost it. I don't know where it is. I'm like, are you kidding?
I was like, I don't know how to say this, but let's try again. I don't know. We're both really busy. Maybe in 3 months we can try again.
Just never happened.
No,
I think, Joey, this is your way of telling everyone that you need me, right?
Exactly. Need you. If I didn't have you, oh my gosh, I can barely tweet, let alone record a podcast.
So you replaced Jordan with me, and Jordan didn't skip a beat either. You got your own show now too. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I know. We've been at it since August, September of last year, and it's been quite the ride. I mean, we only do about one episode a week, and started just simple talking about the NCAA. That was our goal when we first started our podcast, was talking about the inconsistencies with the NCAA and why college athletes should be paid. And all of a sudden it turned into more of a sports entertainment podcast to a life podcast. I mean, we've interviewed so many phenomenal guests, from Jay Billis to Dan Dockage to Alan Lazard. I mean, it's just been quite the ride for us to, I think that's the coolest thing about doing a podcast, is kind of picking people's brain of who you're interviewing and what their lives are like, and just seeing a different perspective of the whole thing. I think that's probably been the most cool part of it all.
Without a doubt. And I think, you alluded to it, NCAA, you and the NCAA have a nice little beef going on, which is awesome. I love it. We'll dive into that maybe a little bit later. But right now, a lot of the people are tuning in to hear about Iowa versus Ohio State. So let's talk briefly about that because, it is important, I guess, right? Thoughts on your season so far? Talk to us about the Hawkeyes.
Well, if you were to ask any fans or fair weather fans, it would be panic mode. Everyone, just the scene we alluded to in our episode, the scene of SpongeBob and Patrick freaking out, like file cabinets everywhere, fire everywhere. That's kind of where the stage is for a lot of fans right now. But, we're just being patient, man. Like, it's a long season, as you know, Joey, that it's a grind to play in the Big Ten. And if everyone thought that we were going to go undefeated and run the table, then I would have – I said it that that's the goal, to go undefeated, but I knew I was lying. It's physically impossible to go undefeated playing Power 5 basketball on an every night basis of playing such great teams. And I think our ability just to keep moving on to the next play and next game is what's going to separate us towards the end of the season. And, this league's just phenomenal this year, and it's going to be a battle every night out.
We kind of know what you're talking about with the needing to go undefeated, because every time Ohio State loses, Joey's timeline is filled with people asking for Holtman's job, calling for a new coach. And sometimes I say to Joey, I'm like, can I just respond and be like, we absolutely agree. His time is up. No need for him. So Ohio State and Iowa both should be undefeated getting ready for – it should be 1 versus 2, not 7 versus 8.
I don't know what it is with Twitter, man. Like this past year especially, it feels like it just went to a different level with lunatics out there just thinking of totally different perspectives and – being experts in something that they read for the first time, and all of a sudden that they can say whatever they want. Twitter is a crazy and dangerous place sometimes. I'll tell you that.
I think that the number one, pet peeve of mine is when people who call them fans, call them whatever they want, when they want to talk X's and O's, that's when they lose me. You can be mad about losing because we're mad too. Like, trust me, that's great. We can be mad together. But don't tell me that so-and-so should be playing more, or this guy should be playing in this position, or you should run more plays for this guy. It's like, you don't know anything. Like, you don't know anything about the practices. You don't know what this guy's going through, what this and that, what the coaches are thinking. Like, oh, that's the worst.
Yeah,
except for if they say Joey should be playing more. Then it's like, yeah, you're right. You're on the right track.
I do remember you hit a fadeaway 3 on us my sophomore year, I believe. I think we played sophomore at your place.
I don't know if I scored or not against you guys.
You definitely hit a 3.
Maybe
you hit a 3 against them. You did.
I remember. So we can get into this a little bit later, but I know that I played you because Isaiah Moss. I used to work out with Isaiah back in Chicago. So I remember playing against you guys because that was, first of all, a huge game for us, like a must win to get some momentum back. Justin Arns had 95 points. Like,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know. Trust me. Trust me. I know the feeling because Foster Lawyer single-handedly beat us in the Big Ten. But no, in that game I came in and my first touch, I shot one from the state of Ohio, which is our half court, and I thought it was good. It hit the back of the rim, whatever. But then I got an offensive rebound or a tip ball that I got in the middle of the lane, and I don't belong down there, so I made like a I tried to dream shake. Like, I don't even know what it was. And I just got a fadeaway, and I don't even know if I hit the backboard, let alone the rim. And Isaiah was right next to me because I was mad, running down, tried to cut off Isaiah, take a charge, and then I got called for a foul, and I was like, all right, let's just chalk this one up. I'm done trying to play hard. Like, let's just get back to the locker room. Like, I got my sweat in, so that might be what you're thinking of.
Yeah, probably. But I feel like you did hit a 3 at one of the games.
I remember my senior year, so 2 years ago, coming to your place, and we're talking at half court before the game, and you're like, bro, you're on our scouting report. And I'm like, for what? And you're like, I mean, shit, you scored last game, so they put you on the scouting report. And now, at the time, it was like, okay, that coach, whoever put me on the scouting report is a fool. But now you look back at it, and I think, if I got in that game and I scored without me being on the scouting report, that coach would have been fired. So
that did happen that year, actually. I remember we were playing Rutgers, and I can't remember who the player was. And they scored, they hit back-to-back threes. And I remember looking over the coaching staff after he hit the second 3, and then one of the assistant coach Coach McCaffrey turned one of the assistant coaches. He goes, "Why the fuck was he not on the scout report?" I'm like, it's gonna be one of those nights. It's just gonna be one of those nights.
So speaking of the scouting report, we promise we're not gonna tweet out a video of this. We're not gonna talk to anyone around Ohio State. I promise. Luka Garza better than anyone else. If you were going to come up with some game plan of how to stop him, just randomly, just for fun, what would you say?
Dude, I don't even know how to even go about it because we've tried. When I'm on opposite teams, when we're playing open gym in the summer, we play like a normal practice, our open gym. So I want to win the games and we want to stop Luka. It's just, I don't think there's a way to stop him. He's going to get his 25 regardless. I mean, the only way, if you consider him getting stopped, is him scoring 17 and grabbing 10 rebounds. And that's going to be a bad game for him. And that's setting a lot what the stats he's putting up this year.
I feel like if he got punched in the chin, it would get messed up, and he would turn and look at you, and you would watch it like set itself back into place. Like a super villain. Where they like will take a punch and it'll just almost like a starfish. Where like if you were to like chop off his arm, he would just like grow it back out like 5 times.
The starfish.
The starfish. I coined this phrase for him. Garbage Garza, because he's cleaning things up around me.
That's the most cheesy say I've ever heard.
Well, if you knew him at all, Jordan, it just gets better and better from that. I mean, we had Duncan Robinson on the show, and Zoltan sang him a song.
What do you sing him?
Here's to you, Duncan Robinson.
Like,
I got one for you.
Sang a song. Like he didn't stop there.
I have like a full song. And do you remember when it was like Mo Wagner, Duncan Robinson, Abdul Rahman, and all those guys on Michigan? I had a whole song that was like, hey, Abdul Rahman, wagon wheel. It was that. I got one for you. You probably heard this.
What is it?
Like put a bow on it, something like that. You've definitely gotten that.
I've never gotten that.
Like,
we'll use that. We'll use
Jordan
that.
Bohannon, wrap it up, put a bow on it, send it in for 3.
I've never actually gotten that before.
Well, that's good. We'll use that when you're not playing Ohio State. Back to Garza briefly. Couple things. Number one, how the heck is he this good when he looks the way he looks and is not athletic? And I don't get it. So first, explain that to me. I'm a huge fan of his. First of all. Second of all, how does it work? I don't get it. So if you could explain that to me. And then the second part of my question is, how much does he look like Dr. Doofenshmirtz from Phineas and Ferb?
Super villain.
I've heard that second one. He does. I think he does look like him. But, bro, I don't know. He works his ass off when he gets the ball and when he doesn't have the ball, and he'll find a way to score. And he's just a worker. I mean, you can say he's not athletic. He's not a guy that's that quick. But at the end of the day, hard work's going to trump all of that. And I think that's kind of what he shows out there when, he's playing basketball and against guys that are way quicker than him and way more athletic. That as long as he outworks them, then, I mean, he's going to have a day regardless.
I'm going to throw you a softball here. All right. So you better knock it out of the park. Is it frustrating that your individual stats have gone down, not assists, scoring, while his have gone up?
Absolutely not. Is it frustrating? No, absolutely not. I'm always been a guy that's about the team, to give you the most cliche answer possible. But anyone that knows me, I just want to win. And, I'm a point guard of the team. So I just need to make sure, one, everyone's happy. So, if that takes a toll on myself, then that's so be it. I'm okay with that as long as we're winning. And, I have to keep the guys together. That's always my 2 main goals. And people can say that my stats are down and I'm not as good as a player as I was, but, I feel like I'm doing all the right things to be a leader on the team.
Follow up to that. I used to say when I was in school that you were the scholarship version of me. What are your thoughts on that?
Man.
I mean, you're welcome. It's a compliment.
Yeah, thank you.
But you had a scholarship.
Yeah, you're on scholarship.
Yeah, but like the version of me that plays a lot of minutes. Like you play how I played in high school, how I would love to play. And you like to chuck threes. I like to chuck threes, but you played, I didn't. Therefore, you're the scholarship version of me. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I would like to think I'm a little different compared to your game, but if you want to put yourself in my shoes, then we can if you want.
No, you're not getting my point. You are an upgraded version of me. It is like.
Yeah, but you're basically saying down to my core that I'm you.
No. At my core, I'm you. We have the same cores. You're it's the same engines, but you're in a Mustang and I'm in a Beetle. That makes sense now.
Humble brag, I lost my virginity in a Beetle.
Okay, let's reel this back in real quick. All right, you have 3 major enemies. I guess 4, but we're not going to talk about the 4th. You have 3 major enemies. We talked about the fans, the haters. They're the haters, not the fans. We talked about the NCAA, also parking tickets. If you had to power rank them in terms of mortal enemy to, I dislike him, but he's not. I dislike them. They're not the worst. What would the power rankings be?
Well, NTA is number 1. I hate them the most. I think that's pretty obvious. Parking tickets is right. Parking ticket ladies are right up there for 2. And then 3 fair weather fans.
Okay. All right. I had a feeling that would be I was hoping to get a little more out of that, but that's okay.
Well, I mean, the stuff I say about the NCAA, I can only say so much more about it. I don't know what else I can say.
You should say this, that guys like you, who I'm on your side, obviously, and I think everyone is. But I think the corner is being turned in terms of, name, image, and likeness and stuff. I don't know if we're going to be able – well, I know I'm not. I don't know if you're going to be able to, have the fruits of those labors. I don't know if you're going to come back for a 9th year next year or not. But I think that it's very frustrating for me, the fact that I got zero shine on the court, but off the court is where, I was known for, and I could have made some cash because of that. That's very frustrating to me. Not a lot of people feel the same exact way in that sense. To that, you say what?
I think they're idiots, to put it nicely. I think the fact that the NCAA has been able to, I'm going to give you a little dry answer to start, but the fact that the NCAA has been able to exploit athletes for this long and them to not have any repercussions against them, it's extraordinary that they got away with this for that long. And I think we're finally starting to see the circle kind of turn around. And, I've been doing a lot of work off the court with this. I actually just met with 2 of our senators from our state about a bill that's going to be introduced next week for name, image, and likeness, and the effective date's going to be July 1st. So it's going to be this summer along with a lot of other states across the country that are starting to do this. So I think the NCAA is the most corrupt organization out there, and if it was my job, I would burn them all to the ground. Granted, there's a lot of great people that work there. I'm not going to say that, but there's a few some that just have ruined it for years on end, and their time's going to come to an end.
Sounds like you got a lot on your plate. You probably should just take the night off. Shoot a couple shots. If they don't go in, no need to keep shooting. Probably don't need to feed Garza. But being serious, obviously 7 versus 8 is a big game. And you guys want to prove, hey, we are the best team in the Big Ten. And to do that, we need to beat the team that's ranked the highest in the Big Ten that's playing, because Michigan is on break or whatever it is. How hard is it for you to focus on tomorrow night's game against Michigan State when you see 7 versus 8 on the schedule 2 nights later?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough looking at our week and seeing we have 3 games this week against really great competition. But also our focus right now is Michigan State. I have never beat Michigan State before, and that's something that I've taken to heart. Luke hasn't beat them either, so that's our first focus. And then looking on to the horizon at Ohio State, I mean, it's just going to be a battle. I mean, we have a 1-day prep for the top 8 team in the country. How ridiculous is that? We're playing in a world pandemic, and we have to get ready for 1-day prep of a number 8 team in the country. So, I mean, it's going to be fun though. It's just what we signed up for.
Yeah, I know. And that's why it's not fair for us to ask you more questions about Ohio State, because, being the elite athlete that I was, I understand that you cannot – Andrew, what's the most important game? You know this.
Ohio State versus Iowa.
No.
The next game on the schedule is the most important game, and that's why in our best Belichick, we're on to Michigan State.
Let's shift gears back to the podcast world. You were on a podcast that we enjoy, the Barstool Bench Mob. Those guys are clowns. We love Jake Marsh because he used to call games for Vermont. My good friend played for Vermont. So we love Jake Marsh. The other guys are clowns in a good way. Do you have a message to them? Because they absolutely, literally love you with all their heart. I think it's so funny. I texted you about it when they talk about you every single show.
Yeah, I mean, they're great guys. Jake is awesome. He hit me up about being on the show, and Marty texts me after games, and they have a little group chat. They have a little group chat with me, Rico, Marty, Jake, and Trent are all in they call it a J-Bo hype chat or something like that, and it's so funny. They text me after games, and they're just clowns. And the the interview they had me on was hilarious. I was dying laughing the entire time, but they're great guys. Jake is hopefully one day he'll swear, but I don't think that will ever happen.
Well, funny story. He swore because someone donated $1,000 to the Barstool Fund. He swore on part of my take. I think he said, "I fucking love charity," which is hilarious.
I didn't
and
see
the guy
that
who
one.
donated it was my roommate in college.
Wow, small world.
Yeah, he texted me and was like, "I made a bad decision last night," and I was like, "Bro, we were texting. What happened?" He was like, "Let's just say I don't remember DMing PFT and telling him I donated $1,000 if Jake swore on part of my take."
That's hilarious. I didn't see that. That's funny.
Yeah, it was like at the end of like a week ago show or whatever. But I got a little bone to pick with Barstool Bench Mob solely because of their name. They can't have guys like you on every single episode if they're going to be called the Bench Mob. That's not how it works.
Yeah, I think
do you have any intel on that? Can you, like, I'm not saying me. I'm just saying, like, have some freaking walk-ons or bench warmers on. If you're going to call yourself the Bench Mob, like, it's playing to the name.
I think they did a poor job of marketing it, but Barstool's all about marketing, so I think they're doing an okay job with it right now.
That's like we're calling ourselves the starting five. It's like, no, we are YMCA players.
That'd be a good podcast. The YMCA players.
There's enough podcasts called the starting five, the starting lineup, the starters, starting five. You got to be clever.
Yeah, like Drive the Lane.
Yeah.
It's very very, very great name for a podcast.
It gets said about 5 times every basketball game.
It's all about marketing. You hear Drive the Lane, and you think of you guys' podcast.
And
That's the goal.
Somehow, some way, one of the commentators was like, "There's an Ohio State podcast called Drive the Lane during one of our games."
Kevin Harlan will just randomly say it on one of these NBA games.
Yeah. Bill Raftery's like, and look at him drive the lane and dish. It's like, oh, that sounds familiar.
I always like do a double take when they say drive the lane, even though obviously it has nothing to do with us. Jordan, if you get it, go ahead, Joe.
I was gonna say, we're talking about announcers now. Do you have any funny stories about interactions with some of the best dudes in the business, whether it's like a Gus Johnson or, obviously you had Jay Billis on the show, but any funny interactions with any of those guys?
Funny interactions. I mean, Dan Dockish told us a bunch of interactions when we talked to him. It's pretty extraordinary that he had all these interesting altercations with these Iowa fans. But I remember meeting Chris Webber in the NCAA tournament when they announced our game against Cincinnati. Other than that, I haven't really had a lot of interactions with the announcers, though. I'm obviously pretty close.
That is it gets as a cool name drop, Chris Webber.
Chris Webber, yeah. He was a good dude. He was a good dude.
When I met Chris Webber, because he called our game in the NCAA tournament the year before that, we all, like, our SID told us to all go introduce himself. Obviously, he like actually talked with Kada and JT and like our studs, but I went up to him and said, "Hey, it's great to meet you." Whatever. Talked to him for 30 seconds, whatever it was, and walked away. And as I'm walking away, I didn't go like dang, like, that's Chris Webber, Fab Five, like, legend. I was like, wow, like, he needs to learn how to call games better because he's just not good.
Wait, who did we just say that to the other day, Joey?
Yeah, well, we said we were talking to Bob Rathburn on the TBT show. He was like, yeah, Chris. He was like, yeah, Chris Webber stinks. And I was like, I know.
I actually do have a story. I remember I met Scott Van Pelt when my brother Jason was at Wisconsin, and I had no idea who he was. And he called me by my first name the minute he's talking to my mom and dad, and they were meeting him, and then he put out his hand and said, "Jordan, how you doing?" I was like, "How'd you know my name?" And I was like, what, probably 6th, 7th grade, which was pretty cool looking back on it.
Very cool. He sat courtside for a game where we lost by 37 points, largest loss in Ohio State history in the Big Ten. So
At Maryland?
yeah, at Maryland. We were tied with a minute and a half left, or like 2 minutes left, and they went on a 13-0 run to end the half, down 13 at halftime. We ended up losing 100 to 67 or 63.
So you definitely got in that game then, right?
No, I didn't go. Back with Coach Mata, I didn't go in losses, which was kind of like a mutual agreement. I did not want to go in for losses. And I remember that game in particular because after the game, Coach Mata made an example of me and said, basically, everyone needs to be more like Joey. The dude puts his head down, works hard, only cares about the team winning, only cares about you guys, not about himself. And you guys all suck, basically, because it was true. And after the game, I remember being like that wasn't. Did he really? I was a freshman. I was like, he didn't just do that. And then afterwards, I remember like months later, it's like, hey man, like it's all there's a method behind the madness. Maybe I was like, maybe coach, you really want to prove a point, you throw me in the game, but that's okay.
Jordan, I got I was just gonna say, I got one last question, but it's more of a request.
Oh God.
I want you to make a shot against Ohio State, just one, and do some sort of little acknowledgement to us. It doesn't have to be big, not like showboating, but just like a little like pretend like you hurt your wrist or something with the three, or like something. What could be subtle that's not like taunty, but still like we'll know. Just the three of us will know.
How about if I make it? If I get to the free throw line, I'll slap the lane for you guys.
You'll slap the lane.
I'll just go down and I'll hit the floor real quick.
All right.
Get fouled, and you'll like make it like real casual. Like no one's gonna be like, is he angry? Is he thinking about the NCAA right now?
He's pumped up. He's fired up.
Yeah, I think that's a good one.
That's good. That's a good nod. My last question for you before we end the interview in a certain way. It's kind of a question, kind of not, but the last question revolves around gaming, your professional gaming career. How in the world do you like stream so late at night and then wake up and work out and play basketball?
Well, I don't have anything in the morning, so I can I get a lot of work done. Like I'll do my, the stuff I'm doing with NCAA, NCPA, I'll do that all at night. And then, I'll get on video games late at night after, if I have any homework, which I normally don't, but I get on late and, I'll stay up to whenever because I don't have to really do anything until 3 o'clock for practice, which is kind of nice.
It's a great life, man. What's crazy, Zoltan? You have no clue, but I gifted him subs. I'm addicted to gifting subs now. I don't know.
He did. Shout out to Al Gang. He gifted me a 5-bomb on stream the other night. I was pretty hyped.
What the hell?
So do you
gifted him subs?
Yeah, subscriptions to Twitch, bro.
How do you with more than one?
I gifted them to people, bro.
Hey, boomer alert right here.
Yeah, come on, man. Golly.
Oh, to other people?
Yeah, so like if there's like 15 people in the chat, like they're watching, they're not subbed, I can just throw out my gigantic wallet. I can just gift people subs. Like, hey, you get a sub. You get a sub. You don't even have to pay for it. And you can support the channel. And that's what I was doing. Being a good friend and supporting the channel.
God,
that was love right there.
I'm addicted to in all seriousness. But it's okay. My buddy, shout out Nick Arter. He's a big fan of the show. He'll play and he'll stream, and he'll get like 7 viewers, and 4 of them are the guys that are playing, and like I'll go in there and give like 5 subs to him, and there's nobody in the chat to give subs to. So guys who aren't watching the stream will get gifted subs. It's hilarious. He's really good though. He's playing in a tournament last night, so I was like, anytime you win, bro, I'll gift you subs. Like you got my word.
Is he
and he won 2 in a row to start.
A Fortnite player?
No, well he did play now Warzone. He's pretty good at Fortnite though. He's mouse and keyboard. He's He's
No,
cracked.
he's sweaty,
sweaty.
then.
So sweaty. Oh, sold him. So cracked and so sweaty, bro.
I'm so
Gifting subs left and right.
If Bill Landis is listening, he's not going to know what the hell we're talking about here.
No, I bet Bill Landis does. I guarantee it. I guarantee Bill Landis does.
Think he gives out subs?
No, you don't give out subs, bro. You gift them.
Gift
You
and
kind of
gift.
give them out.
The
Same
The
thing.
gift is the act of giving.
No, you're right, but like, it's potato. It's just the terminology. It's okay. Well, you're learning. We'll get you a PS5 here soon. You'll be in the game.
All right, last question. Can you give us a score prediction for tomorrow against Michigan State and then Ohio State versus Iowa?
Michigan State. I think it's gonna be a high scoring game. So say 74-81.
Okay.
Ohio State 69-71.
Nice.
Nice. All right. This is how we end every single interview. You're a pro at this. And I feel like I say that every single time with these guys now, but we're going to turn the tables on you. You are a podcast host who interviews incredibly famous people like us every week. So we'll give you the floor to ask any burning questions that you want to ask us.
Oh wow. Well, Joey, I want to start with you. What's life like right now? Do you have a job? I see. I think is that a gaming chair you're sitting on?
I'm sitting in a gaming chair.
So are you invested in gaming? And if so, is that your full-time job?
Thank God it's not my full-time job because I kind of stink. I mean, I don't stink, but like, I'm not zero earnings dog water, but like, I mean, I'm always saying it for no. I do have a job other than this podcast, other than playing video games. I'm in sales. I'm in Columbus, Ohio. And when I'm not working, I am most likely recording this podcast or playing video games. But unfortunately, my Fortnite career is all but retired, basically. So as soon as you want to hop on a man's game like Warzone, you just let me know.
Why does everyone always ask about video games? Didn't Dwayne ask us about video games?
That's the only thing to do now is video games.
Yeah, exactly. I wake up, I work out, I work, and then I play video games, and then I record the podcast, and then repeat, and then sleep. And I'm old, so I'm tired now. So it stinks.
I do have a question for you, Andrew. So, did you ever let Joey edit the podcast one time, or did you already know that he was really bad at editing?
I never have even asked him. Or sometimes he'll be like, hey man, like I know you're doing a lot, like I can help out if you need it. I'm like, no, I got it, don't worry.
We used to have we were on an Ohio State network for a little bit before we joined Andrew's network. We were on an Ohio State network, and they sent us a lot of equipment, and Andrew wouldn't even let me keep the equipment. He just had it all at his house. Not fair.
Like equipment, like what do you mean?
Like we had, Andrew, you can explain it. It was heavy duty, serious stuff though.
Yeah, we
had if we wanted a drum roll before a segment, like we could hit the drum roll button.
It was like a full Joey. I don't understand the gaming. It was a soundboard, and it had a lot of different buttons that we could push that would do different sounds, and we could turn the volumes up and down. And we had these the mics that we still have them. We just weren't together, but it was like the mics that like the ESPN announcers use, like state of the art, good shit. Like when we were in person with Mata and Greg Oden, it sounded amazing, and now that's just in the past, and we're just zooming it up.
This actually reminds me. I was gonna ask you guys. You just reminded me of it. I went to the Memorial Golf Tournament. I think I was texting you while I was there, Joey. But Greg Oden was just walking around during the tournament.
How'd you notice him? It's hard to pick out. Are you sure it was him?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was him. But that was the funniest thing ever. We're at this golf tournament. I'm following Tiger Woods and Jason Duffner and these famous guys, and I look across the seventh hole and I see a 7'2" African American. I was like, that's Greg Oden. Like that has to be Greg Oden, and it turns out it was.
There's a lot of Ohio State people there. I remember Coach Holt one time. Me and Dockich were talking to him, and it was around the time of the Memorial in the summer, and he was like, "Fellas, I just learned that I'm a member there." He's like, I got 8 tickets to the golf thing tomorrow or whatever. He's like, and I can play there, but I don't play golf. So I want to be like, Coach, like, you just let me know I'm there.
Yeah, that's a beautiful course.
Yeah, that's fun. The home of Urban Meyer. That's where he lives too, right on the course.
Lived.
Now he's in Jacksonville.
Rough life.
Yeah.
Are you allowed to get ads for your podcast, or is that illegal?
It is illegal. We actually had a couple meetings with, some companies, but the terms that they were talking about was like ridiculous. Or like, we might as well just do something on our own when we're able to. Then.
All right. How about this?
What about Twitch? Wait, hold on. What about Twitch? Did I break the law by donating to you?
Not legally. I don't know. It's kind of weird because it's kind of in like a
I can legally break the law.
This is like this territory we're in for college athletes is like, it's almost like equivalent to like the lame duck like period when presidents are about to move on. So name, image, or likeness is already a thing in Florida. It will be this summer. So Florida athletes are technically already, capitalizing on this opportunity. Iowa's about to introduce legislation. A lot of other states are already on board, California, Nebraska. So it's almost like, so what happens in this period if someone decides to do a commercial? Like, let's say Iowa passes the law and I like, okay, it starts July 1st. I'm like, June 19th. Let's say I go on a car dealership commercial. Are they going to make me ineligible for 2 weeks? Like, what's the deal here?
By the time it's prosecuted or whatever.
Hold on. You're missing the important part, Joey. Does that mean you're coming back?
No, that does not mean I'm coming back.
Sounds like you just talked about June 19th, being ineligible, which would make it seem like you're still there.
Well, you got to be eligible for something. So.
June 19th is my birthday, though, so.
Happy birthday.
Well, how about this proposal? Join our network, the Zedia Network, which is the Zolden Media Network. All right, you put your show on the network, direct the advertisers towards us. We'll get the money, and I'll Venmo you, and I'll make the caption Chipotle.
What if it's all Iowa businesses? Then
so
that won't impact your.
No, it's your show's ad.
Yeah, it's your show's ad, but they're paying
us.
Like,
listen to Drive the Lane, sponsored by Iowa, your local John Deere dealership. We're not gonna. We would let your show have its own ad.
Yeah, but how would that help you guys though? That's all Iowa fan base. No one's gonna want to listen to you guys.
It's your show, and if you think you're getting 100% of the then you're crazy. If I'm gonna do this sketchy, I'm gonna become a bag man and risk my own life. We gotta be careful.
I don't know. What are we talking about here? It sounds like we're talking about illegal shit already.
What's to say that you can't? And we don't want to get you in trouble, obviously. But not that you even really care. You're about that.
I don't give a shit.
What's to stop anyone from saying like they could just pay us for the time being, and then we just hold that in a Venmo in a savings account and accumulates even more money.
Oh, that never happens. That never happens now.
I mean, it's a great idea. This does bring a great story though. One of my good friends I met, he's in law school at Iowa, and he was texting me like a year ago. He's like, hey bro, you want to like start betting on games, and like I'll like send you, or you can just send the money, or I'll send the money to your Venmo so like no one will ever find out. I'm like, that just does not sound like a good place I want to be in, first off.
Oh my
Yo, that sounds.
I was like, second off, you're a law student. I feel like you would just not want to be away. You want to be as far away from stuff that breaks the law as possible.
Yeah, why? I never understood when people would text me and like text me stuff that would get me in trouble. It's like, what are you doing? Like, think for a second. Like, no, I'm not going to tell you if my teammate is playing tonight. I know you're just wondering because you're going to bet on the game. It's like, but now I get it, but not really.
You were probably like, dude, why would you do that? That's going to get me in trouble. Maryland -2.5 tonight. No way.
I was like, #Maryland -2.
Lock of the week. No, I was so unbelievably scared of that stuff. Oh my God, so scared. But then as soon as I was done playing, I placed a bet on Tiger to win the Masters, and he won the Masters. And I was like, this shit is easy.
How much do you make off that?
Is it illegal to sports bet if you're a student on like nothing having to do with your games? Like if you were in Chicago and you used fan.
You want to answer it, Jordan?
You're not allowed to do any sports gambling.
Unless it's not a school-sponsored sport. So me and Dokic, my junior year, his senior year, we put a ton of money on McGregor to beat Mayweather because
I didn't know that.
Yeah, because it's not a school-sponsored sport. That's what they told us. We asked them in a compliance meeting as a joke. We were like, hey, can we bet on the McGregor fight tonight? They were like, yeah, honestly, you can.
Yeah, the compliance people.
We just did it to say we did it. You know what I mean? Like, we were like, okay, we bet on a game as college students, and it was legal.
I didn't know that.
Joey,
Yeah, don't take my word for it.
I don't think I ever texted you because I wanted to bet on Ohio State. I think I was.
No, I had friends who did. 100%.
Yeah, I've had people this year already. I'm like, bro, I'm not gonna tell you.
Yeah, it's so true, and like we should probably wrap this portion of this up by saying that while I was in school, I know for 100%, I stayed so far away from that stuff, and I know you do too, because that is by far the most serious like offense that you could possibly do as a college student athlete. Like it's like you're going to jail, like your families might be in danger. They were telling us all these crazy stories.
We had a mob guy visit our team last year. They brought him in, and he got caught up in sports gambling and stuff. And it's not a place I want to be at.
Exactly. Yeah, we stay so far away.
I need a little more info than they brought in a mob guy.
I can't think of his name. I would have to text my Dobo what was the name of the guy, but his
name was Al Pacino.
Probably. They brought Al Pacino.
In like witness protection, was he not in the mob anymore?
He was in the mob, and he went to jail. I don't know. He said he was talking about how he killed people. It was a crazy talk. But he goes around like talking to teams about this. Like that's his job now. Yeah,
we talked to police officers about that stuff. We had compliance people from the NCAA, from Ohio State. Like it's just so serious. It's like we could joke about it all we want, but it's not. We only joke about it because I would never touch it with a 10-foot pole when I was in school.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how bad we would feel if we saw a headline like Jordan Bohannon suspended one game for comments made on podcast.
Funny enough,
it was against Ohio State.
Yeah, funny enough, it's against Ohio State. My column.
Well, the great thing is, coaches can get fined for critiquing refs, but we can say whatever the hell we want, and then we don't get paid, so it doesn't matter.
They might pay you if you say too many things.
Right.
All right, Jordan, it's been a blast. Wishing you the best of luck tomorrow night. Now, when you're listening to this, the game had already happened, but we're wishing you the best of luck tomorrow night. And if you play well against Ohio State, that's okay. Don't feel bad about playing well, like Andrew's saying. Don't feel bad about playing well. We are rooting for you as an individual.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Play well. We know a guy that is around Iowa in the mob, so back in.
Oh man!
I appreciate you guys having me on. This was fun.
Always, man. Take it easy.
Yeah, I appreciate it.